amazing what 1 week can do. Being a lot warmer, except for Tuesday, which was freezing. And a little bit of rain, not a lot. But the beans came up in about 5 days. The pole beans, that is. The bush beans are right down here, and germination's been awful. They just haven't. I'm getting buzzed by a bee. Hold on a second here. Okay. The bush beans are right down here. These are the yellow beans. And these beans have been in the ground as long as the bush beans, and they're just not doing a whole lot. So I'm going to give them a few more days, and then I'm going to replant. Corn's doing good. I did go out and buy some fertilizer that I'll show you later. It's got a bit more nitrogen in it. And I fed that to the corn and also to the beans, which are over here. They're looking a little bit better. Of course, they like heat. So it may not be the fertilizer, but they are a little greener at the top than they were. It looks terrible in the viewfinder, but it's not quite as bad in person. We added another pepper plant right there. I say chocolate pepper, bell pepper. It's supposed to be brown. And over here you see mortgage lifter. Mortgage lifter used to be in the tomato bed, but it wasn't getting any light, so I transferred it over here a few days ago. It's getting over the shock and starting to grow very nicely. And over here, there's our mammoth Russian sunflower. Doing very nicely. It's about almost 3 feet tall right now. I want it to get tall. I hate it when they only get a couple feet tall and then they bloom. Unless they're supposed to do that. Then it doesn't bother me. Okay. There's our one little Kakai pumpkin that's struggling to hang on. I haven't got the heart to pull it out, but I guess I should. And there's another Kakai. They've been the first to bloom. Look at that. Of course, those are male flowers, so we're not going to be getting all excited about pumpkins just yet. Kakai pumpkins, I should explain, it's a regular vine pumpkin. The rest of these pumpkins in this garden, except for the volunteer, are short vine. And I do that because I've had vines grow to almost 40 feet long in the past and end up in the neighbors' yards. So I've been spending the last several seasons researching short vine pumpkins. Over here you see aspen, and over there is racer. Those are both short vine. Kakai is not short vine, and what's special about it, and the reason I'm growing it, it has seeds that have no hulls, and makes them a little more attractive to some folks who don't like eating seed hulls, like my mom. Over here we got our volunteer pumpkin, which I had to start directing the growth of this week. See if I can see where I put the little thing there. Garden staple. Because it was going in the wrong direction. And that's going to be a monster. Still don't know what that's going to be until we see the fruit. And here's the smaller volunteer, doing very, very well. And the other volunteer is over there by the tomato plant, climbing through the fence now. At least it's coming this way and not to the neighbor's yard. And that's a hybrid burpless there, looking kind of wonky. More hybrid burpless. And sweet success. Little more sweet success cucumber. We might have a storm blowing in. There were storms in Wisconsin this morning. They weren't coming this way, but they were expanding southward, so we may get a storm. But I hedged my bets and watered the garden anyway. See how my precious elfin thyme is doing pretty well. I got another thyme this week. It's a little different than elfin thyme. It's not as hardy. And I got some strawberries there. Hard to see on the camera though. I'm going to try to bring that along too. Here's our famous tomatoes. These heirloom beefsteaks are doing much better, but they haven't set fruit yet. Let's see here. I know I had all kinds of trouble with this last week. And I'm having trouble with it again. There's our tomato. We need to see a few more here, guys. Get to work. Okay. More elfin thyme. And this is the other kind. It's called Violet's thyme. Looks a lot like elfin thyme. It's a little thinner. And there's the last peony of the season there. Bowl of Beauty. And I'll take a little break here. Be right back. This guy's getting a little more interesting. Nothing yet though. Let's see. There's the yarrow. I forgot to show you the yarrow. It's on the verge of blooming. And here I was worried it wouldn't come back at all this year. This is mullein, or I don't know, verbascum or the bascum. It was doing very, very well. Something has gotten hold of the leaves there. I'm going to have to look into that. I was going to try to harvest some strawberries for you, but I have to do a lot of stuff to get in there, because otherwise, that's our little strawberry containment thing. Keep the bunnies out, hopefully keep most of the mice out. And do have a lot of lettuce, and the person I grew it for doesn't want to eat it. So what are you going to do? I'll show you the potatoes. Hold on a sec. This is an early season red potato. Don't ask me which one, I don't remember. And they grew in the bags very, very well. And they're coming to the end of their season now. You can see the bottoms are starting to die. So when they totally die back, we'll dump out the bags and see what we got. They never did flower, which usually my potatoes are in a big hurry to flower, so that was kind of interesting. They're not flowering in here either. So, rather interesting. Here we go. We got a little bit of red onions there too. Let's see. Back to this garden again. Got some wild dill coming up, which is good because we're going to make dill pickles later in the season. And over here, that was a toad house that I put in when I started seeing toads in the garden. Unfortunately, it's a little bit on the small side for the toads, so I decided to make a fairy house out of it. A lot of people are doing that these days, so got a little bit of gemstones leading up to it and stuff like that. Little hidden thing. We have another toad house in the back that's bigger, and I think toads actually use that. Oh, I can't wait to see what kind of pumpkin that is. That's going to be a big one. Hope it doesn't kill the whole garden. There we go. There's our other toad house. So, like I said, the skies are getting a little more interesting. I don't know if you can see it. You can see some tops of clouds in the back there. So, I guess that's all for this week. and I'll see you next week. Okay, here's the new fertilizer I bought. It's a fish fertilizer. It's got a little higher nitrogen reading than the other fish fertilizer I'm using, which is Neptune's Harvest. I did use it on some of the plants and it seems to have a good effect. The drawback with it is it's very smelly, as is Neptune's Harvest, and with this one, the smell doesn't go away. It comes back every time you water the garden. Neptune's Harvest, the smell does go away in about an hour or two. So, but other than that, it's a good fertilizer. So I continue to use it and hold my nose in the garden. Something I keep forgetting here. This is the rabbit and squirrel section of the video. You know, in the past, I've been spraying the garden with deterrents and doing all kinds of things trying to get rid of the rabbits. This year we finally stretched out an old rabbit fence we've had for years over the whole garden and anchored it down as well as we could. So far it's working. Like I said in an earlier video, we don't have any baby rabbits yet, and that's when the real trouble comes in. So I'll let you know if it continues to work. We also have trouble with squirrels, but we used to have an older gentleman in the neighborhood who would feed squirrels. Got a little bit of chicken wire here where the rabbit fence fell short. But anyway, the older guy was put in a nursing home last winter, and so a lot of our squirrel problem has gone away. We also got a little better with the squirrels when the neighbor next door cut a large tree. He has a huge elm tree in his yard, and he cut a lot of branches off of it, and our squirrel population went down. But it's almost gone entirely now that the one guy who used to feed the squirrels is gone. So anyway, just thought I'd bring you up to date on critter control.